Today's video is brought to you by Empire Abrasives, and if you've watched my channel before and you've watched any of my fabrication stuff, you've probably heard of Empire in the past. Empire is where I get all of my abrasive discs, cutting wheels, belts for my belt grinders and belt sanders. All of it comes from Empire. It's all super affordable, and if you use coupon code DIRTLifestyle at checkout and it's your first time shopping with Empire, you can save yourself even more. These guys honestly have the best value in the industry, so the next time you're shopping around for this kind of product for your next project, make sure you check out Empire. This is going to be the fastest you've ever seen me work on this channel. We're going to build bumpers, we're going to build sliders, and we've got to get this truck to the king of the hammers. In the last episode, we fit the fiberglass fenders and bedsides to the truck. We got a wrap. We really changed the look of this truck and made huge progress towards our end goal, which is the king of the hammers. Today, we've got to build bumpers and sliders. We've got a huge time crunch, so we've got to get started. Check out that bumper. We're going to take a quick break because my friend Paul from T&W Tuning just showed up. He is going to get this Tacoma set up. As you guys have seen in the series, it's a rare treat for me to have people show up and help me with this, but people just showed up last week and helped me with the wrap, and now he's going to help get this squared away so the transmission shifts better, a little bit more performance, a little bit more power, and so we're going to basically just stand over his shoulder and see how it's done. Paul is based out of Portland, Oregon, and I'm super lucky that he was willing to come up here and tune this before we leave on our trip. He specializes in Toyota Tundra and Toyota Tacoma tuning, and he's part of the KD Max tuning network. The tune that he's installing for me today adds horsepower and torque, which is great, but that's not what I'm after. What I'm after is better shift points, better drivability, and these are all things that are offered in a tune like this.
And here we are.
Was that it?
This is flashing, basically erasing your existing ECU mapping and rewriting it with the new mapping.
And you start it?
So I'm gonna start it up.
It's gonna be loud, folks. There's no exhaust on here.
Well, so when we start it, we're gonna let the fuel trims calibrate. That takes a few minutes.
Okay.
And then after that, your truck will be good to go.
Sweet.
Let's hear that. It started.
So how much of a difference in drivability will I get with this tune? I just simply don't know yet. I haven't driven the truck, but I will find out next week in Johnson Valley along with you, and I will report my findings. In the meantime, we've got bumpers to build, we've got sliders to build, we've got to get back to work. The front bumper is really close to being complete. I don't know how much more I really want to do on it. What I'd like to do in the future is I want to put a little light bar in this space right here. I don't usually use light bars on builds, but I think it would look good on this truck, and it's going to help really balance out the look of this bumper. For now, I think we're just going to burn this whole thing together, paint it, and take it to King of the Hammers, and then after King of the Hammers, I'll figure out the light bar situation. I'm like 50-50. Part of me really likes the way the bumper looks. There's another part of me that's like, there's some small changes I would make. So it's so fast for me to whip one of these up. I might redo it in the future, but for now, I'm happy. So we're going to lob this off, and I've got a bunch of like end caps that we're going to be putting on the ends of all these tubes that are from Barnes 4-wheel drive. So the next thing I need to do, because time is critical in this project, is we need to build a rear bumper. I'm going to get the front and rear bumpers and the sliders tacked up. Then we got to take this to get exhaust done. We're going to take it to get an alignment done. And while all that stuff is getting done, I can be finished welding the bumpers, painting the bumpers, and all that. So that's why right now what I want to do is just move on to the rear. Unfortunately, before we do the rear bumper, I do need to fix a clearance issue that I have up here. So I'm going to have to trim away a little bit of this fiberglass, which sucks. But it's just the reality of when you're doing big projects like this. Not everything is going to mesh as perfectly as you like it to. So I'm going to fix where this tailgate comes in contact here, and then we're going to start on the rear bumper.
I always like to try and reuse as much as possible because it saves a lot of time and a lot of headache, and even saves material when it comes to fabricating stuff like this. But once I stripped down this rear bumper to its core and I bolted it all back on there, I realized that even if I trim away the factory hitch and I just use the mounting points, it's still a little bit lower than what I want. I want this to be super high clearance, so we're going to build this 100% from scratch.
I'm going to reuse these two sections of the old slider, but we are going to make sure we have more coverage now. Before, I didn't want to build a slider that was going to stick out super far because it was going to look ridiculous on a stock Tacoma. But now that we have these big bulgy fenders, it's going to help hide some of that and it's going to blend in just fine. So we're going to give ourselves a lot more coverage by having a slider that sticks out a lot farther, and we're going to upgrade this at the same time. So before, if you watch the previous video where I built these, the advantage of these is that they're super light. It's 0.95, super lightweight, which I like. But this part of the slider that takes the impact did get a little bit of deformation from our Mexico trip. So we're going to upgrade from 0.95 to 120 wall DOM. So this is thicker, a little bit more heavy duty, still 1 3/4 inch, but it should make it to where we can put these into rocks, put these into obstacles, and have them last a little bit longer. Tragedy has struck, unfortunately. I was editing earlier today because we were supposed to leave this morning, first off, and I had a card failure. So the tail end of me basically welding everything up is gone. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry. The plan was to show that, and then once this was done, which we just finished it a little bit ago, we were going to do a little walk around and check everything out. So we'll just do that. So I'm going to flip this thing around, and we're going to take a look at these bumpers and sliders. Looks a lot better with paint on it. Yeah, I'm digging that. It's slim. You know, I really liked the old bumper, and I still am using the cradle. I really like this winch cradle from Backwoods Adventure Mods. But I wanted tube. I think tube looks way more rock crawler, and I think that this turned out very rock crawler. And as you can see, I updated my fairlead to the toe points fairlead. For those of you who don't know, we did this in collaboration with Yankum Ropes. They make these 100% here in America, and it completely simplifies everything. So for this, I didn't have to actually tie a loop. All I did was take and I cut like the metal surround off of it, and this is just the winch line that comes with the worn winch. So I'm very excited. Look how protected that is. There's nothing hanging off the end. It's just nice and clean. I'm loving it. So now let's take a look at these sliders. As you can see, much better coverage than the last set of sliders. Here we go. You see that a lot better. Before, I kept them in nice and tight because these would look ridiculous on a stock truck. But this looks perfect on a truck with some wide body fenders, with, 38s. And then here's the rear bumper. Just, God, pardon the mess, guys. It has been crazy. We're leaving to King of the Hammers, like, right now. And I haven't got time to clean anything, but look at that departure angle, how much better that is. I cut a lot of bed off because before this video, I had already cut a ton of the lower part of the bed, but then we trimmed like another couple inches or so to make room for this single bar. And this is, I mean, it's as slim as I can make it without modifying the frame, which if I love this as a rock crawler, that might happen in the future. I don't want to give too much away, but this is not our permanent bed solution. This bed is going to be on here for probably another couple months, and then we're going to change the bed. So I don't want to give away too many details because I have to make sure that that's going to happen. But I'm 99% sure it is. Oh, and then I added, for people who are wondering where I put my license plate, it's right here. I drilled a hole. Well, I drilled a few holes. I wired this into the factory license plate lighting, so whenever I turn on the lights, we've got a license plate light. So we're quote unquote legal, minus like mud flaps and all that other stuff. So I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I think that the tube really helped to polish off this truck. I wanted this it's a modern truck, right? This is a 2021 Toyota Tacoma. It's got 8,000 miles, but I wanted it to mirror all the badass old school Toyotas that I see rolling around on the rocks. And I think that the tube and the wrap and just the different things that we've done to this really help it stand out. I've got all my friends with trucks and trailers parked in front of my house. Everybody's ready to go except for me. And look at me, I'm filthy. So I'm gonna go shower. I gotta finish packing. I gotta get this on the trailer, and I'm gonna go to the King of the Hammers. So the next video you see is gonna be us going through everything on this truck at the King of the Hammers. I'll tell you what I like, I'll tell you what I don't like, and we'll see you then.